welcome back to Send Them Off. Another pre-season preview. This is number 3 of the night for me and Alex. This is
I know.
We are on quite the mission tonight. And we're in I was gonna say the Midlands, but I think it's the Midlands. Is it the Midlands?
Well, it's near Nottingham, if I recall.
My geography's horrific.
Unless it's been seismically moved at all.
It's not the Midlands then. We're not in the Midlands.
We're not near the Midlands. We're just below the Midlands. I've driven to Leicester. I've driven past the King Power, but no, we're in just below the Midlands, some part in England, not very far away from Leicester, from Nottingham.
Somewhere anyway.
Don't mention Nottingham.
It's in England. We're in England today.
I'm impressed you got to 3. I mean, I don't normally get past sloppy seconds on a night, so 3 is very impressive.
Well, we are, of course, talking about Leicester. Joining me, as always, is my ever-present podcasting partner, Alex.
That was probably the worst one we've done so far, the worst intro we've had.
That was derailed.
What was that number? Is that our 15th? That is our 15th.
Yeah, we're not getting any better, are we?
But we are joined today.
We are joined by another guest. We're joined by Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV. Chris, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
You're more than welcome. And that's the Leicester City from the Midlands.
Yeah.
Not the other Leicester City you're thinking of. You know.
Is it not in the Midlands? It's the middle of England, though, isn't it? It's towards the middle of England.
It is the Midlands. It's the East Midlands.
Oh, there we are.
Yes.
Oh, I was right then.
It was your doubt that you didn't know where.
I thought I was wrong then. I thought you. Happy days. I'm right there. There we are. That's one for the pub quiz, Al.
There we are. I'll take that.
We are, of course, talking about Leicester today. A club on the up, I think. Even despite the fact that they won the league in 2016, I feel like they're a top club now. We always say, Al, they've replaced Arsenal in that.
100%. I think so. They're a club I quite like as well, Leicester. I do enjoy watching them.
Spot.
Yeah, I really do.
Bit of a soft spot for Mr. Rogers as well.
Mr. Brendan, of course.
With us in Swansea. But Chris, what are your thoughts going into this season?
I did a show myself a couple of hours ago on looking back at last season and forward to next season, and I don't think I've actually been as excited going into a season. I mean, I'm sort of 60 this year, so I've followed Leicester with a really bad time.
Cracking, yeah.
You know, and it has been painful at times, and it makes me laugh when you see the clubs like Arsenal fans in tears because they actually finished 8th and missed out on Europe for one season. Get a life, get down to the 3rd tier and play Yeovil Town on a wet Tuesday away. Then you know what it's like to suffer. But even under the O'Neill years, when we were winning the League Cup, and we were 3 appearances at Wembley and we had the playoff years, you never felt, I never felt confident as a Leicester fan the following season. It was always a case of, let's get 4th from bottom, let's get enough points to stay up. And, after we won the Premier League, it felt like it was a one-off, because, the big clubs came back, they spent the money, they weren't going to let it happen again. But this time, I don't know, I've just got a feeling. You watch, Man City will stuff us 7-0 now on the Community Shield on Saturday.
I think it's a good point you're making because, we were speaking about the 90s and things, and we were just speaking about Newcastle, and we spoke about Arsenal as well. And a lot of what we were talking about came down to the owners, and of course, unless obviously the tragedy happened with the helicopter crash with Vichai, but the whole family seemed to just love Leicester, and they're just going to pour money into the club to try and make the club better rather than bleed it dry.
You know what? I did a graphic the other day, and it's like it was basically if a picture of top, and it said if Carlsberg did football owners, and then
100%.
The strap line was, oh yeah, they do. He's at Leicester. We were worried when we'd almost gone out. We had gone out of business once, and we nearly went out of business twice. And Milan Mandaric came in. He just sold Portsmouth, and he came in and saved Leicester. And I'll always be grateful for him for doing that. And I think if we'd gone out of business the second time, I don't know whether we'd have come back. But it was a bit worrying because the guy that he'd sold Portsmouth to, Gaydark or something it was the biggest con merchant going. And, we were being told we were being sold to this Thai consortium at the time, like Thai, what do they know about football, But the quote I always say, and a lot of Leicester fans say, is they didn't buy the club, they bought into the club and the city.
Yeah, and you could tell.
Yeah, it's as soon as they came, they were supporting charities. I can remember the first time the guy had cycled to every single club, Premier League club, to raise money for his son, and he was trying to get £100,000 to.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And he was 25 grand short, but he'd achieved 75, and they were presenting him the check, and top it was that came on, and I think it was, and. It is, basically is a check for the other 25,000. I mean,
unbelievable.
It's a touch of class, isn't it? Yeah, you can tell.
We've had cakes on the birthday. It all started when we got promotion, and Top, the son at the time, said, "If we get promoted, I'll buy everybody a beer."
Yeah, I remember that. And was it a packet of crisps as well? Or when you won the league, it was a packet of crisps and a beer or pie or something like that. But it's little things like that that sort of make the difference to the fans and the surrounding community.
I think was just the Walkers.
It could have been
for promotion. In fact, it's behind me. I don't know. It is behind me. The Sultan Winners, it's called. But no, I mean, yeah, he's bought us cakes on his birthday. The old owner, before he passed away. You get there early for away trips, and there's bacon sandwiches for you. It's that step further, and he's part of us. He doesn't feel like an owner. I mean, those celebrations after we won the FA Cup, you could count on one hand, if that, how many owners of clubs.
Honestly, I was about to say how refreshing it is, because Swansea fans, we've got our owners. We don't see them. Nobody really likes them. Same, like I said, with Newcastle, same with Arsenal. So it's so nice to see someone who's bought a club and actually buys into it, loves it, and actually supports it. Because I feel like he is a lesser supporter as well. But yeah.
You meet them out, and I haven't met them that close, to be honest with you, but they're in the crowd. We were away in Europe after the Premier League win in the Champions League, and he was there with the fans outside the ground and having selfies taken, and they're not the stereotypical owners, and they are brilliant. We could not have designed a better owner ourselves if we'd hadn't been asked to.
What sort of strikes me about them as well is you pair that with an incredible, and I mean incredible, recruitment system at Leicester. I mean, you look at Mahrez, you look at Kante, even recently with like Fofana, and I kind of want to talk about the summer business this year, because this Patson Daka looks. For me, he looks like the closest player I've seen to Jamie Vardy's style in a long time, which is refreshing. From what I've seen in pre-season, I've seen a couple of clips of him circulating on Twitter, and he just seems to be in that Vardy sort of mold.
He is, but we don't want a replacement Vardy. Vardy's had to change his style. He's getting on a little bit now. It will probably be his last full season, and after that, it will probably be down to super sub status. But yeah, we bought some duffers as well, and as good as the owners are, the best thing I can say, because they're like any other owners, they'll sack you as quick as look at you if you're a manager. Pearson got us promoted, kept us up. We had all the trouble in Thailand. He went. Ranieri won us the champion, won us the Premier League within 8 months. It's very much like a Chelsea type of thing. But the thing is that when they had the match after he died, the managers that had come back, that had been sacked, but there was that respect for him that they actually came back and were sat there and were walking around and wearing the scarves. And, it's just, there's just no words.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nice to see the passion.
It is. I love it. I love it. I've got a soft spot for Leicester as well, to be fair.
I think everybody has. I think when we won the Premier League, unless you were a Tottenham fan or possibly an Arsenal fan, we were everybody's second team. Yeah. We became everybody's second team. Then we sacked Ranieri, and everybody hated us. You know, great best. He's like your uncle. You know, what are you doing sacking him? He's just winning the Premier League. But we were down in 17s, 18s at the time. He had to go, unfortunately. But
Mr. Brendan Rodgers came in.
Brendan's come in, and I mean, you look at Spurs now, and you know, Nuno was something like their 8th choice to be manager. You know, we wanted Brendan. A, was our first choice, and B, he walked out on Celtic with 10 games to go and a treble to come and manage us and learn about the team, and that's the difference.
Yeah, definitely.
I
think that's what I mean. There's just a buzz about Leicester. Like, it's a club on the up. I'm excited for this season. I don't know about you. Finished 5th last year. I think there's 100. I mean, so you've sort of, I don't like to use the word bottled, but you have sort of bottled Champions League 2 seasons in a row.
No, I'm not having that.
I had a feeling he'd say that.
Yeah. We discussed this very point. I tell you, 2 managers that bottled it more than Brendan Rodgers. One, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How much money did he spend, and what did he win last season? Nothing.
Yeah,
it's true.
Jurgen Klopp, the biggest bottler I've ever known as a manager.
I think Sam's got a big spinus. That's music to his ears.
I'm not the fan of Klopp at
No,
all.
but he had this fantastic team, and all credit to them. They were a joy to watch if you weren't playing them. You know, they won virtually everything that was available to win, and yet he only just managed to scrape into the Champions League the next season. How do you go from being that good to that bang average? That's bottling in it. And you've also got to think of, those are clubs where the fans crying to their nappies crying to their ankles if they don't win something for a season. You know, this is Leicester, 5th 2 seasons running, top 4, 37 out of 38 weeks, 2 weeks running, FA Cup winners. You can't say we're bottlers.
No, it was a tongue-in-cheek comment. I
know it was.
He's been put in his place well and truly there. But no, I totally agree with you. I do totally agree with you, because Leicester City, as a, you know, like you said, you know, it was just about avoided relegation. You know, a few seasons ago, won the league, and now all of a sudden you're an established top 6 club. And I love to see it. That season
was when we got promoted. We broke virtually every record that the club had for away wins and goals and everything. Because we'd lost to Watford the previous season in the playoff when Troy Deeney, we missed the penalty and Troy Deeney went up the other end.
That iconic moment.
To be honest with you, that taught me never start cheering until the ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
You know? But it was an iconic moment, but we learnt from it. I think the following season, you could have predicted the team Nigel Pearson would have picked 6 weeks before the actual game. That's how regular and on the spot we were. We get promoted, and I live on the south coast, so I live just outside Bournemouth. So it's a 7-hour return journey for me to go and watch a home game. And I had a season ticket at the time, and we were losing. We weren't losing badly. You know, we beat Man United 5-3. We started off really, really well, and that was one of those I was there moments. And I think that was the same season we may well. Oh no, was that the season? I think we beat Swansea by 4
probably,
goals.
Probably.
Just I'd mentioned.
Thanks for reminding us. Yeah,
exactly. No. I think it was the following season. But anyway, and we had that 3.5-hour drive back down from Leicester to Poole, having lost the game. But my God, it made it so much more sweeter when we did stay up.
Yeah,
I don't know what. We won more games in those last 9 games than we'd won in the previous 30-odd. I don't know what happened.
One thing I want to highlight before next season, looking ahead, is 28 points from home you picked up last year, 9 wins, 9 losses, and a draw. Obviously the fans are back the King Power this year. We've mentioned this loads, Al, but do you personally, Chris, think that is going to make a big difference?
I do. I seriously do. Maddison he likes a crowd. He likes to perform in front of a crowd, and I think players do. You know, I mean, even when you're just as a spectator, and I'm off to Wembley on Saturday to watch the Community Shield, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic to actually go to a match again. And the crowd at the when you look at that, I don't know if you watch the FA Cup final, but you think there's only Leicester fans there.
Yeah.
We totally outsung the Chelsea fans. We do have, when we get going, we do have a great crowd, and we've got the clappers, which you either love or you hate. Honest with you, I love them because it's easier than clapping for 90 minutes. But they were introduced when we were doing the Great Escape, and it creates such a good atmosphere.
I think I'm on the fence with the clappers. There's times I hate them, and I'm thinking times actually they're not too bad. It's only when I get one for free, to be honest with you. I think it'd be nice to check on your wall, innit? But you know what I mean.
They're classic. I've got the championship.
I was going to say you probably got
one and them all up on the wall.
A wide array of clappers on that wall.
Yes. In fact, I actually had a tidy up when I moved into this room and made it the studio, and I actually chucked about 20 out, but I kept the ones for like Champions League games and what have you. But they just do add that bit of atmosphere, and it's not just Leicester. I think there's a few clubs out there that struggled at home. There was no advantage to you being at home, but yes, we got a lot more points away from home than we did at home last season. But I think there was a few clubs like that.
Yeah. I was impressed with your sign of Ryan Bertrand, to be fair.
Yes.
A lot of people have said he's a little, he might be a bit done and stuff, but I think he's an experienced head. Won a Champions League as well. People are forgetting. He started the final at Chelsea. I don't know how much credit we can give him for that Champions League medal.
I'm sure I don't know. It's up there with David Nugent scoring his one goal for England in his one performance with tapping.
I mean, it's probably on his CV, and it's top of his CV.
It's the top of the CV, yeah.
Yeah.
And this Soumare in midfield. You've got a knack for signing like that sort of midfielder, often from France. We
have a good scouting network, and it goes back to because when Nigel Pearson came in, we'd just been relegated to the third tier, and it's that when you get that saying, I need to take a step back to take two forward. We needed that relegation. We didn't appreciate it at the time, but Nigel came in. We'd sacked Ian Holloway, who took us down. It wasn't his fault. We'd been on the brink of going down for 3 or 4 years. If we finally went down, the players we hadn't got good players. Pearson came in, having kept Southampton up at our expense the season before, and he came in and he basically had a clear out, and he completely changed the club from top to bottom. And the thing that gets me is that we are doing nothing that other clubs couldn't be doing. The problem is that other clubs haven't got the bottle, to use that word again, haven't got the balls, excuse my French, to make the decisions that we are doing, because they won't go out and spend, let's say, 30 million on Patson Daka or 30 million on Wesley Fofana, but they will go out and play 78 million on
Harry Maguire. Yeah, exactly.
And then the people turn around and say, well, you're a selling club. And well, we're not. We used to be. We'll sell if we have to. Maddison this season, don't want him to go. If he goes, he will go, but he will go on our terms.
Yeah, sure.
What
absolutely.
What annoys Leicester fans is the way that Arsenal, or not the majority of Arsenal fans, seem to think that he would walk barefoot over broken glass to get to Arsenal. Why? They're not even the biggest club in London anymore. They're
not even the biggest club in North London anymore.
No, Leighton Orient are up there with them. It's. But no, you know what I'm saying. And if he goes, come. I mean, Man United and Harry Maguire. We paid 20 million from him for Hull. 20 million, I think it was, from Hull. They just got relegated. And we sold him 2 or 3 years on for 80 million. That's not a selling club. That's a club that's got a bloody good business head.
Yeah, exactly.
Chilwell, 50 million. We got him. He came through our youth system. Danny Drinkwater, 10, 12 million or something he was. 50 million to Chelsea.
Yeah. Mad.
Carry on.
I don't know in what world Danny Drinkwater's worth any more than 10 to 12 million.
Yeah.
I know he was brilliant that season, but yeah, sorry.
He had that season because he was next to Kanté.
Yeah.
Very good point. Very good point.
honestly, I'm 17 stone and 60, and I could look good if I was playing with Kanté. You know what I mean? And Chelsea thought they could duplicate that, but it was a couple of seasons on, and it just didn't happen. And unfortunately, his career's not gone brilliantly since then. But
from a Leicester point of view, you made the money, and you're spending it now.
Arguably replaced him far better with the likes of Tielemans.
He went and parked outside Chelsea's training ground, waiting for the call. He wanted the move. Grass isn't always greener, Danny.
Exactly. If you're watching, Danny.
I'm
sure he is.
I'm sure he is.
He's
got nothing else to do. He's not playing, is he?
Yeah, true. Just that's a good point. To be fair, last I saw him, he's getting sent off in under 23s game against Spurs. That's the last I saw him.
A horrific challenge.
I know.
I just want to highlight the first 5 fixtures. So Wolves, West Ham, Norwich, Man City, and Brighton. For me, 3 definitely winnable. Possibly actually 4.
I'd say 4.
4 winnable fixtures there. Only Man City really that I'd look at and go, it's a bit.
That's quite tasty.
Yeah, it's at home though.
We beat them 5-2 at their place early on last season.
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? I think City. There is always that thing with Leicester and the bigger. I don't want to say bigger clubs. You're a big club yourself, but the typical bigger clubs like the Chelseas, the Cities, the Uniteds. It's not impossible for anybody to even think you can go there and not win, because more than capable of beating those kind of teams.
Yeah.
Last season, we beat Man City, we beat Liverpool, we beat Arsenal, we lost to Newcastle, we lost to Fulham. It was.
This is football.
But we do seem to playing the so-called bigger teams. It suits our style more. They give the space to the Vardy and Acho, and that's why I think we do better against them. But yeah, looking at it, I mean, Wolves should be beatable. I think they're going through a bit of a change with the manager situation. West Ham,
good season last season for
West
Ham.
Bit of a sticky one.
They did.
It all depends on how they
beat
start.
us. They beat us early on last season, and we went like, "What the hell?" But we didn't know how good a season they were going to have.
Yeah.
Norwich should be beatable.
Yeah.
I'm always worried about saying you're going to beat these clubs on paper.
It's always that saying, you don't play the game on paper, but on paper, absolutely you should be beating the likes of Norwiches and Brightons and that kind of thing. But
then again, if we beat Man City in the Community Shield, I'll take not getting the 3 points against them.
Yeah, that's how it works, isn't it? If you beat them in the Community Shield, they're going to thrash you at home.
It worked with Chelsea, didn't it?
Exactly. I'll have my fingers crossed for you on Saturday anyway. Don't
will
worry
I.
about that.
Cheers, guys.
I will be open for Leicester. Nice bit of another bit of silverware would be nice for Brendan.
It's it's a bit of silverware on the shelf, isn't it? And it just cements us in that we're a growing club, and it's another step forward. We'll never be called one of the big 6 because we don't bring the money in for Sky and games abroad.
I just want to put it out there, Chris. On Send Him Off, you are a big 6 club.
Yeah. You're a big 6 club to us.
We have relegated Arsenal and put Leicester in there. We said this for a long time on Send Him Off, that Leicester are a big 6 club and Arsenal. Sorry to Dennis, who we had on yesterday, but not a big 6 club anymore.
I'm doing a show on Thursday on my channel, and it's just me and 3 Arsenal fans, and it's like you think things are bad, well, you could be an Arsenal fan, and the subheading is like, I'm going to think about it now. Are Arsenal fans disillusioned prima donnas, or are they really hard done to?
Yeah.
There could be a case for both, to be fair. Chuck me on. I'll have an argument with them as well.
But
no.
No, I'm looking forward to watching Leicester this season. I'm feeling
optimistic
about them. Yeah, they're always a good. No matter what, I think they're a good side to watch. They were a good side to watch last year. In a year where I struggled to watch football a lot. I don't know about you, Al. We said it a few times. The Premier League just wasn't exciting last year. I didn't feel like some of the big games were like a little bit cagey and a bit like a game of chess. But Leicester was a bit of a shining light, I thought, last year.
I tell you what made it for me is I couldn't watch without the crowd noise option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was just like watching a training match. I just couldn't.
I was sort of in and out. Sometimes I got used to the crowd, and then other times I thought it seems a bit, because when a goal would go in, the fans would take 3 or 4 seconds to, it was almost like they'd realise it. Obviously, they weren't there, but like they cheer a bit too late. Like, but yeah, no, I'm glad we don't have to put up with that. Some authentic crowd noise would be just with the dog ordered.
Some actual abuse.
Some real life abuse.
I'm not condoning abuse, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
A bit of banter. A bit of banter.
I tell you what,
banter. That's the word we use.
I tell you what, I was listening to the obviously wasn't listening. I was watching the FA Cup final, and obviously it was one of the bigger games where the crowd started to come back. And Chilwell obviously got booed when he came on, and the commentator actually said it's even nice to hear booing at a football.
I remember that.
Yes,
it is wonderful. Chris, I'm asking everybody this who comes on because we are running out of time. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. First, you finished 5th last year. Do you fancy send them off exclusive, putting your neck on the line, and telling us where Leicester City going to finish this season?
I'll tell you where I think we'll finish, but it's not exactly exciting news, as I've got us down for 5th again.
5th again.
Consistency is key.
To be honest with you, it won't be a disappointment because, you look at who are we going to dislodge out that top 4 clubs that have, £100 million for Grealish to go to Man City. It's obscene and stupid, and we can't compete with that.
No, I think with all due respect, like City, Chelsea, United, and Liverpool, we've highlighted as our top 4 this year. I think Al, haven't we? Really?
Yeah.
And I think if you're finishing, if you're the best of the rest out of them, then I think that's superb.
And it's Europe again. Yeah. And like I say, this is Leicester we're talking about, and for us, it's bloody good after where we've been.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I think for a club of where you're at the moment, I know you obviously won the league back in 16, was it 15, 16 or whatever?
15, 16, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously playing the Champions League the year after. But I feel like the Europa League is a far, and don't get me the wrong way here, because it sounds like a stupid statement, but I think the Europa League is a far better opportunity for Leicester. I feel if you go into the Champions League, it's always like, oh, what are we going to do? Whereas like Europa League is like, we can win this. Like this is winnable. I would love to see Leicester do well in the Europa League next year.
Have you been watching my channel?
Because I haven't. No.
That's exactly almost word for word what I have said. I think
great minds, Chris.
Exactly. Sorry, Ali. You
be taking my job. No, trust me. The amount of times I've said that.
But no, the Champions League gives you the money. Obviously, it does.
Yeah.
When we were last in it, we got the perfect group. It was probably the easiest group that we could have had if we, chosen it ourselves. We got to the quarterfinals. Would that happen again if we got there? I think it's just a little bit too early for us. We saw last year we struggled in the Europa League. Hopefully, Brendan will take those lessons on board. I wouldn't have I'm quite tempted to have a sneaky fiver on Leicester to win it. But of course, problem with the Europa League is it depends who comes down from the Champions League. And I think that's totally wrong. I don't think
we got the European Conference and all that to worry about.
I think if we finish 3rd in our group, we'll go into the conference like the 3rd in the Champions.
Yeah.
And it's wrong. If you get knocked out of the cup you're in, you don't go into a consolation cup.
I agree with that. I think it's unfair.
I do as well.
Because I agree with you though. But like Villarreal won it last year, and on paper, if you give me a Villarreal against Leicester, on paper, just a normal game,
Leicester
I would probably back Leicester.
Tomorrow night, 7:45 at the King Power, Leicester are playing Villarreal.
Are they actually?
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a friendly. We always have. We never go away on these big tours of Asia or America. We always have one big club. I've watched Barcelona. I've watched Real Madrid. We always have one big game. Atlanta were from Italy last season, and it's Villarreal.
I cannot.
Villarreal, my Spanish team. I went to the training. I've been to Villarreal, so I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm very well. Actually, we're recording tomorrow, aren't we?
We are.
Oh, I was gonna say I might
be on LCFC.com.
LCFC.com. Got you. Sweet.
I can't believe the coincidence that I just said that.
Well, when you were saying that, I'm looking at you thinking, I don't think you know.
I definitely don't know.
We didn't have a clue.
Know. Wow.
Apparently, Man United have offered us De Gea in case it goes to penalties, but we have refused it.
One more question. That's all I had.
Final question.
Who is your player to watch this season?
Well, it depends who the pundits leave us with, because if you read the papers, we're going to and the internet, we're going to lose every single player that's going.
Chris, I being a Swansea fan, I was saying one.
The minute we sign him, they're out the door.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the one to watch will be, for me, a youngster coming through, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
I have actually heard of him.
I have as well.
Yeah, he was at Luton last year on loan.
Yeah.
A bit like Maddison when he was at West Brom. He played so well. Assists, goals. I think we're talking about it again earlier. I'm not sure whether he certainly won either the young player or the player of the year. He may well have won both. He could. I would think he might have won both. And we've seen him in pre-seasons. And if Maddison was to go, we've got him.
It's a massive opportunity then.
Yeah, huge opportunity.
We played QPR the other day and we were 2-0 down in a pre-season. He scored to get a kick 2-1 and he ran into the goal, got the ball, picked the ball up, ran back to the centre circle, put it there. Come on, we can still get something out of this. And that's what you want players to do, even on a friendly. But keep a lookout for him.
There we are. Here first.
Can I just add one thing myself, actually, because you guys are. I'll be quick.
No problem.
I just want to say all respect and good luck to Nathan Dyer.
Oh yeah, well,
I want to echo that.
Yeah.
Swansea City legend, that man.
He had a good, because I was at the pre-season against Southampton. He had a nice send-off. He's going to have a proper one against Sheffield now when the season starts. But yeah, absolutely. Didn't play as much as we would have liked at Leicester, but he's a Premier League winner.
At least we gave him a medal, which is probably more than you guys did.
It's a lot more.
But no, I mean, who can forget the smallest guy on the pitch going up for the header and getting knocked out by his goalkeeper and not knowing he'd scored? He was part of the squad. And you can say Mahrez was brilliant and Vardy, but it was a squad that won.
It was a squad, absolutely.
And he was part of that squad. And he did what was asked of him, and I wish him all the best in his retirement.
Yep, as do we. Swansea City legend, big part in our history going up that season. He was Player of the Year, I think he was, wasn't he? The season we went up.
Yeah, I think he could have been.
I think he's player's player. Anyway, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us. It's been a absolute pleasure. Would you like to tell people whoever's listening where they can find you and your channel?
Oh, yes. You can find me easier than you can find Harry Kane at the moment, I tell you. YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give us a sub. We're about 140 off hitting the 1,000. We really want to get to that 1,000. So that's Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Facebook's Leicester Till I Die, the group. And on Twitter, it's at Leicester TID.
Lovely stuff.
Sorted.
Definitely go give that a follow. Thank you once again for joining us. It's been a real pleasure chatting.
Thanks for having us on, guys. And I'm really pleased I didn't need subtitles.
It's all right. We're Welsh, mate. We're fine.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah, I didn't mention the Euros. Damn.
Yeah.
Didn't
get that one in. We'll end it now before you do.
Thought you might.
But thank you.
And good luck to Swansea for the upcoming season.
We need it. We are going to need it. Yeah. And thank you guys for listening. We'll have another one tomorrow. I can't tell you. We're back to not being able to tell you. I can't remember who's next.
Feels good, doesn't it? Feels good.
It does, doesn't it? It's back reminiscing from last week. I'll see you tomorrow. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for listening. And